Girolamo Cardano. Alex and Paige have read the book of my life by Girolamo Cardano. They decided to meet up and discuss the life of Cardano. They both are studying to be future mathematics teachers and picked Cardano because of the great work that he has done with the cubic. Even though they picked him for his work that he had done on the cubic, his autobiography did not focus on his mathematical accomplishments, but his life story instead.
Good morning, Paige. How have you been?
I've been busy, as usual, Alex. Have you finished reading our book on Girolamo Cardano?
Yeah, I finished it. It was a really interesting book. It had its boring parts, but I really liked learning about Cardano. I really liked how Cardano wrote the book himself.
Girolamo Cardano was born September 24th, 1501, in Pavia, Italy, to the proud parents of Chiara Mischiera and Fazio Cardano.
His mother was from Milan, but moved to Pavia. She moved to Pavia to escape the plague, and there she met Fazio.
Cardano's mother was in labor with him for 3 entire days, and he still survived. After he was born, he was taken from his mother because he was very sick.
He was taking care of a nurse for a month until she died from the plague.
After the first nurse died, he was returned to his mother for a short time until he got a new nurse.
The new nurse he only had for a short time because she became pregnant and wasn't married.
It was crazy what not being married meant back then.
Yeah, one moment she had a job and the next she didn't.
I felt so bad for baby Cardano. He had no one to take care of him.
Yeah, just one nurse after another. As an infant, he had many nurses taking care of him.
It took an awfully long time for his mother to recover from giving birth. After she recovered, Cardano went home with his parents.
Finally.
I couldn't believe that his mother lost her 3 children and her first husband to the plague. That's so sad.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people died in the plague.
Considering all the people who died, it was interesting that Cardano was able to know about his great-great-great-grandparents. He was able to learn about them from his father.
He was also able to learn about his great-grandparents and his grandparents.
From what I understood, Cardano was an only child. He didn't talk about any other siblings.
Yeah, I didn't recall any siblings.
He did talk about his father.
Yeah, he said his father was a well-dressed, mathematically gifted lawyer.
I know. Did you read that his father was friends with Leonardo da Vinci?
Yeah, wasn't that interesting?
Yeah, the book also talks about his mother in detail.
Cardano said that his mother was easily provoked, had a great memory, and was a wit-fatted, devoted little woman.
I thought it was funny how he had traits that were common in both of his parents.
Yeah, he said that he was hasty-tempered.
He also said that his parents were not the most consistent.
He claimed that his father was the more loving parent, too.
That's interesting. Most mothers are the more loving parent.
Cardano's mother did have 3 other children that passed away. Maybe the loss of her children changed her.
Yeah, his father let him sleep in until 8 o'clock because he thought it would benefit his life.
I wish I could sleep. I wish I didn't have to wake up till 8 o'clock. I probably wouldn't be so sleep-deprived.
If I slept until 8 o'clock, I think it would benefit my life.
I know, right?
At the age of 4, the Cardianos moved to Milan. In Milan, his mother and Aunt Margarita took care of him.
Cardano was very sick most of his life.
Yeah, many times he was so ill that he was on the verge of death.
What a horrible way to live.
Yeah, he had the worst luck. He almost died when moving to Milan.
And when he was 8 years old, he became very ill with dysentery and a fever. There was an epidemic going around.
But at least it wasn't the plague.
Yeah, shortly after he was sick, his family moved back to Pavia.
Cardano lived there for 3 years. He lived in the same house before moving again.
Cardano sure did move around a lot.
Yeah, he did. It must have been hard to have any relationship considering he never was in one place for very long.
He said in the book that he was his father's personal page when working.
A page? That's my name.
No, page. Page meaning one employed to deliver messages, serve as a guide, or attend similar duties.
Oh, okay. That's still weird.
Both Cardano's mother and aunt thought the job of a page was a great idea for Cardano.
So he was a page for his father, which required him to deliver messages, serve as a guide, and attend similar duties?
Yes, Paige.
Oh, okay. Must have kept him busy.
I would say so.
Then at the age of 19, he went to the Academy of Pavia.
Cardano was privileged to get the opportunity to go to school.
Well, his father did make really good money.
At least Cardano had some luck.
Yeah.
He was He also was able to debate in public at the age of 21.
And he started giving instruction of elucid geometry at the gymnasium.
He began to teach at such a young age.
And of all things, elucid geometry?
Right? When Cardano was 22, he returned home from school. He came home because of fighting, which brought everything to a standstill.
Cardano was in his prime time, and then there had to be a war?
I guess that can be added to his bad luck.
I guess so, but besides the war, so much happened to Cardano in those 4 years.
Yeah, he was able to go to school and even teach.
It sucks that he had to come home because of war.
Yeah.
But then after coming home, Cardano had to go to Milan to visit his father.
He went to visit his father after he found out his father had an acute sickness.
And when he was visiting his father ordered him to return to Pavia.
And shortly after he returned, he received a letter saying that his father had died.
Why wouldn't his father wanted him to be with him while he was sick?
I don't know. Maybe his father knew he was going to die and didn't want Cardano there.
Or maybe his father didn't think he was going to die, and that Cardano was overreacting by being there?
Well, we'll never know.
Yeah, we'll never know. But did you know how his father died?
Right, his father died on August 28, 1524, after not eating for 9 consecutive days. Cardano was so young when he lost his father.
Yeah, and to us that was young. But I'm sure that it was common for children to lose their parents in their early 20s.
Yeah, but it's still so sad.
True, but I thought it was interesting that he went to Sakoa, a village at the time, in which was 10 miles from Pavia and 25 miles from Venice, instead of just staying in Pavia like his father asked him.
I felt that his father just wanted him to finish school.
Yeah, I could understand that.
But between 1524 and 1527, Sakoa had many plagues, which Cardano was luckily enough not to get sick.
He eventually moved back to Pavia. Here he was rejected by the College of Physicians.
Since he was rejected, he was not able to make any headway in a lawsuit with the courts.
He eventually went back to school, though, at the age of 24. He went back and he made rector of the college.
Finally, he went back and finished what he started.
A lot has happened to him in the past 6 years. It was time for him to finish what he started before the war.
Yeah, it was nice to see him go back. The year after becoming a rector, he graduated with a doctorate in medicine.
Cardano said that his doctorate in medicine was his first honor. He said that he secured his degree by a majority of 1. The ballots were twice secured by a majority of 1, and the ballots were casted twice.
Yeah, and the third and last ballot cast was the one in which Cardano came out in first place, which gave him his degree.
Obtaining a degree back then was very difficult than it is today. We earned grades now in which, prove that we are sufficient.
Yeah, back then they had a voting system.
But at least he got his degree.
Oh, that's true.
I really liked his story about his wife.
I thought it was really cheesy.
Oh, I thought it was sweet. I liked how he said that he had a dream of this beautiful woman in which he called his wife.
It was sweet, I guess, but the cheesy part came to me when he saw his wife in person and knew she was the woman of his dreams.
I liked how he knew. I liked how happy he was when he married his wife. I mean, when he married her at the age of 31, and her name was Lucia Barandarini of Sakoa. They had 3 children together. They had a son, and 3 years later they had a daughter, and then 8 years after that they had another son.
I wonder why they waited so long to have that third child.
I'm not sure. Maybe because they moved so much?
Oh, that might be the reason.
In 1537, Cardano made an application to the College of Physicians in Milan, and again, he was flatly rejected.
Again?
Yep, he was rejected. Again, flatly rejected.
He eventually received his degree, though.
Yeah, in 1539 he received his physician's degree with the help of 2 friends.
I thought considering all of Cardano's bad luck, he was still able to be successful.
Yeah, he was given some good luck throughout his life.
For someone who to be so sick, not get the plague was pretty amazing.
Yeah, he always talked about how he would have a fever and feel ill, but he always found a way to be successful.
Cardano explained in 1544 that he still remained in Milan with his family. His eldest son was 11, his daughter was 9, and his youngest son was 2.
Yep, and Cardano was offered many jobs overseas, in which would have paid him in gold.
But he turned down all those jobs.
He would turn them down because he didn't want to travel that far from home, and he also saw many conflicts for leaving.
He ended up working in Milan from 1553 to 1559.
In the time he worked in Milan, he rejected even more generous offers of employment, one of which being from the French king.
Cardano returned to Pavia in 1559.
He moved to Pavia because his son's death came about.
His son's wife accused his son of trying to poison her.
Yeah, then his son was imprisoned and executed.
That's so sad. What if his wife was lying?
I don't know if she was lying, but it's sad overall for Cardano because he lost his eldest son.
Yeah, it's sad for Cardano. He said that his eldest son had health problems like himself, and that his eldest son looked a lot like his father.
I thought it was sad that he lost his son to beheading, but he also lost his youngest son.
Yeah, his youngest son was exiled.
That's right, he was exiled because he stole Cardano's jewelry and money.
Then he gambled it all away.
I wonder if this kind of sadness within one family was common in the 1500s.
I'm not sure, but it could have done a lot with the plagues.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Besides losing his sons, he continued to work.
Cardano was summoned to Bologna in 1562 for work.
He was employed there until the year 1570.
Cardano stayed in Bologna until 1571.
He moved from Bologna to Rome, Italy.
Rome, Italy is where he died on September 21st, 1576.
Reading this book has taught me how life was during and developed of mathematics.
Me as well. I really enjoyed reading about Cardano. He had such a tragic life, but yet all we know about him is his great discovery of the cubic.
I know, he only mentioned a small paragraph about the cubic.
He didn't even give us the year.
Thankfully, we learned about him in the History of Mathematics course.
I agree. Thanks, Alex, for spending time with me to discuss this book.
My pleasure. Thank you, Paige.
The Book of My Life by Girolamo Cardano was a great book to learn and understand how people in the 15th century lived. Cardano discovered the cubic, but he did not view it as his greatest accomplishment. Cardano also wrote more than 121 different articles on mathematics, medicine, and astrology. He had a very tragic life, and most of what he wrote about reflected it. As future mathematics teachers, Alex and Paige found the book interesting and historically important. The book allowed them to understand a small piece of the journey that has led to the mathematics we study today. They thank you for spending time with them and encourage you to never stop liking mathematics. Thank you.